Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today I'm here for Mercy Tiara Kits, and I'm going to be creating a 12 by 12 layout featuring the March release called Dream Big and doing a bit of beginner mixed media. This kit combines products from a few new American crafts collections, including Poppy and Pear, Rainbow Avenue, and Cool Girl. And here's what I've selected for today's layout. So in addition to the papers and embellishments, I also have some metallic semi-watercolor paints from Prima. They are in the mixed media add-on. You can find information and inspiration for the Mercy Tiara Kits on their website, Instagram, and on Facebook. And I will put a bunch of links below. So let's get started. So here's what's on my desk. I have a bunch of paper. That striped paper, I actually cut it for another layout and I never ended up using it, so I do use it in today's project. I use almost all of this paper except for that gray cardstock. I have 3 photos that I matted in advance with white cardstock. So here's that metallic paint that I mentioned in the intro. It's really, really pretty. And I also have some white cardstock. Those are scraps of cardstock from Vicki Boutin's Foundations paper. Here's my tray full of embellishments. So I have a couple ephemera packs from the Poppy and Pear collection. I have some bows, enamel dots, foam titles, and I'll talk all about these embellishings later on in the process when I actually embellish my page. But the first thing I want to do is start painting some cardstock. So you can see on my table, I have my paints. I have 3 little pots of water there. And I also am showing you that I have samples. I did that at the beginning of the month just to kind of create a guide of the colors. I decide to go with the blue, pink, and purple. And I used that pattern paper with the flowers in it to inspire me for my color selection. Now, all I'm going to do here is use this brush. This brush, by the way, is kind of this fanned out brush, which is apparently great for splattering. But again, if you watch my channel, you know I don't do mixed media, so I don't have a clue what I'm doing here. Basically, what I am doing is simply painting up a piece of cardstock, and I'm starting with the pink color because it is the lightest in my opinion from what I can see. Then what I'm going to do is switch up my water and switch up my color. I'm going to come in with that purple one, and what I will do is just start painting, kind of crossing over the pink just to change up the color a bit. You'll see me do that right now. And then I continue with the purple, and I continue doing this, and I will speed it up because I do it with 2 pieces of paper. But basically I started with pink, then I'm coming in with purple, then I switch up my water, coming in with the blue here, and all I'm looking for is to color up this paper. And later on, I'm going to come in and punch it out. You can see I even messed up the top and sides of that first one I did. Now I'm coming in with 2 more colors. One's almost like a teal and the other a green, and I'm going to be creating my leaves with this cardstock. So again, I started with 1 paint, then I'm coming in with another, and once I paint the second color, then I'm going to come in and just kind of add a bit of that color on top of the other one. So I'm going to set those pieces aside to dry while I prepare my foundation page. So what I'm going to do is cut this striped paper down. Originally, when I saw this paper at the beginning of the month, I thought I would cut it in 3 equal strips, the green, yellow, and blue, and kind of use it that way. However, partway through the month, I decided to cut myself a strip of that blue striped paper, so that kind of ruined my plan for 3 equal strips. Anyway, I am going with the flow. You're going to see I have 4 different strips, 2 in the blue, 1 in green, 1 in yellow. And what I'm doing is just making sure they are all at different lengths. And I will put the measurements on the screen a little bit later on. I'm just coming in and tidying up the sides of those strips at this point. And then what I'm going to do is place them on my foundation page. And basically my plan is to kind of place them towards the top of the page. And I will be placing my photos in a horizontal row across them. So I'm going to switch things up. Again, my original plan with this paper was to go blue, green, yellow, but since that blue is cut in half, I might as well go with the flow and switch things up a bit. What I'm thinking at this point is layering another paper underneath it. So I'm trying out this floral paper and placing these strips on top of it. This is really outside my comfort zone with regards to mixing up patterns, but I am in the mood. Already I'm doing mixed media, which is very different for me. So I am just playing today. So you can see I tore the bottom edge of that floral paper. I used a Creative Memories tearing tool and then I trimmed it down, and now I'm going to place all of this on the page there. I will get out my ink and just ink up the edges of all of this paper. The ink I'm using is Morning Mist by VersaFine Claire. I actually started inking on an area that I knew would be covered up by that blue striped paper because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not. I ended up liking it. I'm being very light-handed, and I do it to all of those striped strips of paper, and I end up doing it as well on that gray paper, not on the torn part, but on all three other sides. So there you have it. My paper is all inked up, and now I'm going to adhere these papers to my foundation page, and then I am going to work on my painted papers to create some embellishment. So you will see that in a moment. For adhering these papers down, what I did was I adhered obviously that gray floral paper first, and then what I did was I came in with that blue striped paper on the far left. Then I adhered the paper on the far right just to make sure the distance to the sides was equal. Then I filled in those strips in the middle. Now I'm getting out two punches, two flower punches, along with a leaf die. So those leaf dies are an old one from Lawn Fawn, and those two funky florals are from EK Success. I've had them forever and ever. Actually, not forever and ever, but for about 15 years probably. Anyway, now I showed you the paper. You can't really see the metallic reflex right now on the screen, but let me tell you at the end you will see them. They are really, really pretty. So what I'm going to do with this paper is punch out a bunch of flowers. I continue doing this off camera because it's bouncing my table, and I do have a tripod over my head. And I'm also going to take those dies and cut myself out some leaves. So there you have it. I have a bunch of flowers, and I'm showing you that some of them I piled a small flower on top of a larger flower, and then I put an enamel dot in the middle. So I'm going to do that now just to show you how I did it. I am using glue dots, and I glued the small flower on top of the big one, and then the enamel dots I'm using, which are from Simple Stories, they're sparkly, and they were in the Dream Big main kit, I believe. So they make really, really pretty flowers. So now I have all of my embellishing around me, including my flowers, and what I'm going to do is just kind of give you an idea what I'm planning. Now, I would like to add extra photo mats behind those photos, but I have to decide what color. I have some foam phrase stickers. They were in the main kit, and my title is going to be Friends Forever. I also have some puppy stickers and some bows, and all of this is from the Poppy and Pear along with the, what's the other collection called? Rainbow Avenue. And on that tray, in addition to my flowers and leaves, I basically selected the ephemera pieces that were kind of pink and purple. The purple periwinkle blue, or whatever you want to call it, the same color that's in the word together, and the pink because I really like those pink flowers. Now I'm trying to decide on what color photo mats to use. Now the pink is really outside my comfort zone because I've got a lot of color and pattern going on. But the gray is kind of dull, and I'm already outside my comfort zone. This is really kind of colorful and fun, so I'm just going to go with it. So what I'm going to do is kind of move everything here, and I am going to cut myself some photo mats in that pink paper. I end up doing that off camera, and you're going to see I come back and my photo mats are all made in that pink paper. And you're also going to notice behind the matted photos, I added some scrap cardstock, and that was just so that I could add a little bit of lift to these photos, and I did that instead of adding foam adhesive. Because there's so many patterns going on, I really wanted my photos to stand out. So you can see I'm kind of playing around with my embellishments here, and I have this envelope that was in one of the ephemera packs. It's got a little slit in it, which is really cool. Now I'm thinking of putting my journaling on the inside. There is a tag there that I'm trying out, but it's once again flowers. So what I did was I took another piece of ephemera, which was a little journaling box, and I kind of trimmed it down to overlap it on top of the tag, and it kind of takes away the boldness of that floral tag, and it's a great spot for my journaling. I'm also coming in with some flowers there. I know I want my journaling and title and the main embellishment cluster to be towards the bottom right. At this point, I'm playing with it right underneath the photos, but you're going to see me play with it towards the bottom of the page as well. I'm not quite sure where I actually want to place it. I'm playing around with the bows as well because they are really fun, and my tag will need something, a string or a bow. So I am just playing with all of the embellishing. It's here where I decide I'm going to place it on the white cardstock. So the embellishment cluster itself does stand out more at the bottom than it does on top of that layered photo mat. At this point, I'm coming in with a much smaller embellishment cluster with just a few flowers up there in the top left. But I decide to go with the cluster on top of that layered mat as opposed to on the white at the bottom of the page. And that is because there is so much going on this layout. I'm a person who needs a lot of white space, so I decided I'm going to keep that white space, and that will give my eyes a rest. I do know I will want to add some finishing touches, and I have all of those leaves to add to the clusters, but at this point, what I want to do is just start adhering everything that I have decided upon, and then I will come in with some finishing touches. So you can see I'm using my T-square to adhere those 3 photos in a row across that layered photo mat. And all I'm doing is making sure that the distance to the photo to each edge is equal. So I want the distance on the left to be equal to the distance on the right. Once I establish that, then I just kind of eyeballed it and placed the photo in the middle. Now you can see me working on that cluster in the bottom right, but again, I'm keeping it on top of that layered photo mat. So I'm starting with that envelope, and like I mentioned earlier, I think that envelope has a little slit in it, so it's really kind of fun. I tucked the tag in behind it. Now I'm coming in with the title. On the envelope, there's a little word that says hello, and I wanted to cover that up. So I placed together first just to make sure that word was covered up, and then I nestled the word friends right on top of it, a little bit staggered towards the left. Now I am coming in with those flowers, and for some of them I'm popping them up on foam adhesive, and you can even see I kind of tucked one behind that torn edge, that paper as well, and that kind of extends that cluster onto the white paper, but I still have that white space reserved as a rest for my eye. Now I'm coming in with the leaves. So basically I have the leaves cut out in 2 different sizes, and I'm actually kind of bending them before I put them in the clusters to add a little bit of dimension to those clusters. So I have 2 sizes of leaves. I'm keeping the bigger ones for the bigger flowers and the smaller ones for the smaller flower. I have another flower that I'm thinking of putting just above the title, but I do wait until the finishing touches at the end to do that. Now you see me working on the cluster in the top left. All I end up going there is with 2 flowers. I did try out a few other pieces, but this is looking busy to me, and there's a lot of color and pattern going on, but I do like it. It's actually quite fun. And those flowers are really, really pretty. And again, at the end in the still shots, you're going to see the metallic reflects in that paper. It's really, really pretty. Anyway, now I'm just coming in with some finishing touches. So I have those puppy stickers. I end up coming in with a little coffee pot and a teapot there. And that is, well, that's fun because I'm with friends. This is a pizza and movie night, but we often get together for coffee as well. Then what I ended up doing was popping up one of those flowers on foam adhesive, and that is basically it. All I did off camera was my journaling. I also added a foam yellow heart, and there are 2 more green leaves in that cluster at the bottom. In addition to that, I kind of fluffed up the torn edge and fluffed up the flowers and the leaves on those clusters as well, or in those clusters as well, I should say. But that is basically it. So I hope you can see the metallic reflex in those clusters. They are really, really pretty. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd greatly appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, Scrapbooking Quebec, I would be honored and thrilled if you did. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very, very much. Make sure to check out Mercy Tiara Kits. The Dream Big kit is sold out. It's sold out super, super quickly. But that mixed media add-on with the metallic paints is still available, the last time I checked anyway. And I happen to know that next month's kit is absolutely gorgeous. So if you like those metallic paints and you don't already have them, you could always throw them in your cart then. So take care, and I will see you soon on YouTube. Bye-bye.